we have two movies that they're huge project in here. One is Ramayana
Mm-hmm.
and another one is Varanasi. So I don't know if you heard about them.
Not at all. And also, religious movies in general in America don't usually tend to do that well. The horror genre, unfortunately, I hope not, I don't think so, could also suffer from the superhero genre and just be overproduced.
Paid reviewers.
It doesn't happen. But a one for one, we are paying you specifically for this review, almost not at all or rarely even happens.
Most overrated movie of 2026.
Oh my God, overrated? Michael.
You knew that this movie Varanasi is releasing and is from the same director of RR. Would you go watch it?
I have not seen RR, but I feel like the people and my friends that have seen it and liked it, yes.
ThalaBuddy आवाज है असली सिनेमा के सफर में ये दोस्त है सच्ची रिव्यू हो ऑनेस्ट बात हो टाइट मूवी का सच्चा हम मिलता राइट ThalaBuddy आवाज है असली.
Hey guys, welcome back to ThalaBuddy. This is Cami, and with me today we have an amazing guest. We have Blake with us. He knows about many topics. We will talk about many things, so be ready for that. But before I say anything, thank you so much for being here.
You're
Is
welcome.
amazing to have you. And first of all, please tell us about you, your journey, how you became a content creator, why you decided to join this crazy world.
Thank you. It's it's Cami, right? Cami?
Yes.
Cami, well, thank you so much for reaching out, letting me be a guest on your podcast. I am a content creator that specializes in movies and television. Some of that also includes anime, overall, a lot of pop culture. I've been creating content in its entirety for over 10 years, from you name it, all different types. So I never really started movies and television originally. We were a streamer, we did influencing, we've done literally everything, and then we found ourselves molding and changing and getting to where I am now, being overall movies and television, talking about my love for them, for deep dives to conversation pieces, reviews, even news. And so now yeah, a lot of it is just being a big old nerd, because as you could probably tell in my background, I love a lot of subjects. I love a lot of things from all those IPs. If I had to pick certain ones that really stand out to me, I love the horror genre. I love medieval fantasy genre. I love a lot of things that just, entertain me and scratch that little thing in the back of my head where I'm just like, you know what, I need to be entertained. But I'm just a big old nerd and I love talking about it. And I want to bring everyone on my journey about talking about movies and television.
Great. It is interesting to know that you have tried so many things. And
I have.
why did you decided to stay with this, with pop culture and movies and series?
I think it's because it was a lot of trial and error. I think with over the 10 years of creating content, now I would say with movies and television, I've been doing it for 6 years now out of all those years. And I would, I guess, say now being successful at it as being I am full-time, which is awesome. So there is some success with that, but I think a lot of trial and error. I think there were just a lot of moments where you kind of want to figure out what you want to talk about, what really speaks to you. And because I love so many things, it was hard to kind of pinpoint what I wanted to talk about. And I found early on, from streaming to strictly only talking about anime, that when you almost niche down so hard, you kind of lose the creativity in putting yourself in a box, to where at one point in my career, I was like, you know what? I really just want to start talking about other things that I love. And so I branched out and continued to try to evolve and change. And what I found the happiest in doing is just talking about everything that I like. So that's where a lot of the movies and television came from, because there are just so many IPs and so many things, especially today, that are going on, that I was like, you know what? I just want to create content that I like and create things that I love talking about. And if people want to listen to what I have to say, they're welcome to join and they're welcome to be a part of my community. And it just made creating content a lot easier, just to be a little bit more flexible instead of niching down. It's 2026, man. If you're a creator out there, I would not recommend niching down. It's great to start for a little bit, but I definitely, if you're like a lover of multiple different things, I would definitely try to talk about what you like.
Yes, I can agree with you. It happened. The same thing happened to us. We started with only South Indian cinema.
Yeah.
And then we just got stuck in that. And then slowly we started talking about everything.
Yeah.
And it worked in the end. Because I think that is one fear that you have, that if you're reaching out too much to so many things, then how people will generally understand what they like from your channel.
Yeah, 100%. They expect certain things. Yeah,
yes,
and
exactly.
it definitely you'll like I definitely went through like ups and downs, low views to high views. You could when you transition, because I was strictly anime for a very, very long time. When I started to branch out, I could easily tell the dips of when I talked about movies and television. It would be like 70% of my viewership completely shot down compared to me talking about anime. And over time, I just pushed through. I pushed through, built up an audience for movies and television, built up an audience still for anime, and then a nice blend of the middle that people started to trust me even more, where they liked both. And then it just transferred into pretty much me feeling more of the freedom of being able to post whatever I want in the same realm of pretty much pop culture, to where, people will come and watch my videos for what I pretty much have to say. So it's definitely a more comfortable space creatively to be able to just talk about what I like to talk about.
So we're already halfway through 2026, more than halfway through 2026. So if you could rate the year movie-wise in Hollywood, how would you rate it from 1 to 10?
Oh, that's such a good question. I feel like I'm going to give you two answers. My first answer is I think with creativity, because there have been some really creative movies that I've been lucky enough to see. I think the world has been able to see. I would give it a solid like 8 out of 10. I think there have been some really good creative ideas. Out of movies overall, I would still, it'd probably be pretty close. I would say maybe a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I would probably say a 7 out of 10 overall. And I say creativity, probably an 8 out of 10. Because there have been definitely some movies that surprised me, but a lot of them haven't been the heavy hitters. A lot of them have been ones I think a lot of people would agree that just kind of surprised us, like The Backrooms, like Obsession, like other films that are coming out later this year. So I think it's definitely a good mix of both. But even saying those scores out of 10, I think this is still a very solid year for cinema and movies in general that we've had in a long time.
Yes, I was gonna say that exact thing. That compared to last year, this year is way better.
Oh yeah,
whatever we got before, because it had just been disappointing everywhere. Like not only Hollywood, but in here, it was just like.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would say like last year, the standouts for me were probably all actually in the horror genre. Weapons, Frankenstein, and then Sinners. Those are like the top three for me that stood out. I mean, Frankenstein didn't even have a full theatrical release. It was on Netflix. But I almost struggled to get like a movies last year that like super blew my mind compared to this year.
Yes, this year is brighter. I still have hopes for the other half that we.
Oh yeah.
But then we have this other same issue that sometimes we have so much hype, and then once you watch the movie, it's like.
Yeah,
it could happen better.
Yeah, that did happen a few times this year. It could still happen, and I think that's again because of I think maybe besides two big hitters right now this year, a lot of the big hitters haven't been hitting. A lot of the blockbuster big movies, but a lot of the smaller ones or ones that people didn't expect have been doing amazing.
Yes, and for you, what has been the biggest surprise of 2026?
I'm gonna go to my letterbox because I have to look. Because I think in total, I got to go see just yesterday the end of Oak Street. I just got to see that, and It was interesting. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it for what it was. But I think I'm at officially 31 films I've seen this year, 32 films. What was my biggest surprise? I'm gonna do one that completely surprised me because it was an early screening. This would never be on my list ever in a million years, but it was like a rom-com, but The Invite by Seth Rogen was a phenomenal movie. I came out of there. It was hilarious. It was meaningful. The story was very good pacing, and then the message near the end of the movie like hit like really well, and it turned into like my top third film of the year. So that one really surprised me. And then something that I had no information about whatsoever. I never followed the YouTube series. I had no idea whatsoever was the Backrooms. I might have been better off than most people because I had no prior knowledge of the Backrooms at all. So I went to watch that movie early, completely surprised. After watching it, just doing a deep dive and trying to figure out what the Backrooms were. So those are like my top movies that really surprised me. One, because it was a genre I would rarely go to or maybe not be super interested in, leaving very happy. And then another one just going in blind. And it's rare to go see a movie blind. I feel like most people have somewhat of an idea, obviously, to be interested into go seeing a movie, because you have to have some sort of attachment or interest to even want to go to the theater in the first place. But because this is my job, doing something like going to the Backrooms and even The Invite, I definitely have been very surprised by those two films.
Yes, I can agree. I had expectation for, well, that will be for my next question. I don't want to spoil it. But for me, the Backrooms, it was amazing. I have met people that they didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
But for me, it is like such a good movie. I got genuinely scared. I enjoyed it.
I loved it, man. I found that a lot of people that didn't like it understood the lore and the YouTube videos. And I think they were going in with expectations of things similar to the series. And they wanted it to be even scarier, to where going in blind, I was like, this is just a very enjoyable, suspenseful horror movie where I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. So I think I definitely was very blessed to be able to go in blind watching that movie and enjoying it for what it is.
And now we will do the opposite. For you, which has been the biggest disappointment of the year?
Oh, it's going to be Supergirl. Supergirl is my biggest disappointment. I am biased, unfortunately, because I read the comic, and I understand not wanting because you're never going to get truly a one-for-one comic adaptation. I'm never expecting that. I understand they're going to take their own liberties and try to tell their own version, but the core values of that comic and Supergirl as a character, especially a woman-led movie, which in its genre in itself is very few. I wanted something that could stand out. I wanted something that, if you were to read the comic, I would hope, come to be in a conversation being like, you know what, this is something that would check a lot of boxes that I think Hollywood is really missing, is having a strong female independent movie. And I go to examples like Alien with Ripley, with Sigourney Weaver, Final Girl. A lot of the horror movies, it's hard to find a good, not force-fed lead female character in a movie. And I thought Supergirl would have broke that mold, especially for the superhero genre. Again, if you read the comic, and I just wanted some of those core values within that movie. And the movie for me just turned into again, not even directed by James Gunn. So I don't blame James Gunn at all. It was directed by somebody else. But it just turned into a lazy version of Guardians of the Galaxy to me. And it was more of things that I've seen before in multiple different superhero movies. And it was just a disappointment. Now, I know some people that don't watch a lot of movies, like probably us, that enjoyed the movie. And I'm so happy for them, because even if I didn't like it for my reasons, if you came out of that theater and you enjoyed it, because I do think Millie Alcock is a great Supergirl. I think she has a lot of potential, and I'm excited for the future of Man of Tomorrow, her being in that film. I just wish someone looked over that movie at least a few more times just to add a little bit more substance. It didn't feel like it missed the mark on me. For me, it missed the mark for me.
Yes, I think for a lot of people, it was like that. Because in here, there was no hype, there was no excitement. It was
No. Oh, the marketing was the marketing was terrible too. So, like, put that aside. I don't blame the loss of money just because it wasn't a good film. The marketing was horrible. So there were definitely a lot of elements for that movie to fail.
Yes, and even the trailer, it was just like, it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look interesting. No. It's just like another movie that DC is making that will fail.
Yep, and it looked like we've seen it before. You did the classic music. It looked like Guardians, like, it was like there's nothing special about this movie. It looks like a generic superhero movie, and it just turned into a generic superhero movie.
And now we will go into the superhero part. What do you think about the latest Spider-Man movie?
Oh, it was amazing. I was very impressed by it. I don't agree with the fact that, and if you have this opinion, it's fine, that it is the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time. I think it's very good, and it's in my top 3. I still think Spider-Man 2 is better. I think Into the Spider-Verse is a better movie as well. But it's in the conversation as it feels more like a Spider-Man movie. I recently, after watching that movie, I went back and watched No Way Home, because that was my favorite Spider-Man movie, because obviously you get Tobey Maguire, you get Andrew Garfield, you get all the IPs, you get everyone coming back. And I'm rewatching that film, and I actually had more of an appreciation for Brand New Day after watching that movie, because Brand New Day truly gives you a Spider-Man movie, not just a Marvel movie. It just felt like a Spider-Man movie where you could theoretically not watch any other Spider-Man movie and go watch that movie and enjoy it, just understanding the character alone. And I just thought it was great. I thought it was really, really good.
But I don't know if it happened to you, because I think most of us 90 kids, we grew up watching the animated series of Spider-Man. And in that series, when he's mutating, when he's getting the changes and all this stuff, we get to see the man Spider. But in here, it is like, okay, his eyes are just turning black. They
didn't fully commit.
Sharp. Yeah, exactly. I don't know about you, but I was very disappointed about that, because they were like kind of hinting that in the trailer.
They were.
That it would happen, and the mutation and all this stuff. And then once you watch the movie, it doesn't happen.
No, they definitely. I think if across the board this year, a lot of movies, their marketing was completely off. So regardless of liking the film or not, the marketing, and it could hurt and it could help. But my opposite, like kind of like for you, how I felt that about Disclosure Day. I was not a big fan of Disclosure Day because I think the marketing completely threw me off. I thought it was going to be us going through Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day happened, and we're dealing with the aftermaths of Disclosure Day. We find out going through Disclosure Day that Disclosure Day does not happen till the end of the film. So for me, I walked out of that movie very disappointed, because it was a sci-fi movie that I pretty much felt like I've seen before, like Signs, or you name a bajillion, sci-fi movies from the mid 2000s. It felt like that to me. So I think across the board, marketing and trailers were all over the place. And regardless of liking the Spider-Man movie and being happy about what I ended up seeing, they did too many teasers, too many trailers. They almost over promoted in a way to where it's like, yo, have I seen the entire movie already? Like, stop showing me the Hulk. Stop showing me all these things. So I can completely understand your take on that, because seeing Man Spider would have been cool. Obviously, watching the movie afterwards, I can understand why they didn't do it. But again, I would say this year, if I had to pinpoint something, the marketing has been all over the place on different projects completely.
Yes. And another thing that for me was a bit off was watching the trailer of Doomsday versus when we got Infinity War. The hype that it created Doomsday versus the hype that we had back in the day. Like, people were going crazy with Infinity War, and now we have this Doomsday that, yeah, we're excited because we're getting our OG cast. We just want to watch it. But some way I think they're relying too heavily on them, especially Robert Downey Jr. And
Yeah.
and another thing here is that, okay, we're going into a movie that, okay, Doomsday and all this stuff, but do people really know who's the villain, what he's doing? Like,
No.
if you have read the comics, it is great because you will have an understanding of who he is, what he does, and why
Yeah.
he's so deadly. But before, when we got Infinity War, we got an understanding. For years, they were building up Thanos, and they were creating
Yep.
like this deadly villain that he comes for 5-10 minutes, but he leaves an impression on you. And then
Yeah.
once it is going to happen, it will be like, okay, he's going to destroy everyone, and yeah, he has that capacity. But in here,
100%.
we're just basically going blindfolded, like what is going to happen.
No, 100%. I completely agree. That's a lot of where my stance is. And I've heard the opposite. Well, Thanos only showed up for a few seconds. Is that really truly building up a character? And I'm like, no, it's not truly building up a character, but just even in those little bit of teases through years of movies, it's still built up the hype when you get the big bad guy. You're like, oh, this is what he finally looks like. Doom, wasn't something that was planned at first. It was Kang the Conqueror. Like, you could very much tell that they were trying to realign because a lot of their movies just did not do well. And with everything with Ant-Man and the Quantumanium, horrible movie. And, everything was just not going in their direction. You could tell they were just trying to, figure out a new direction, understandably so. And so my expectations for Doom are very low. From both trailers, not impressed. It gives IP nightmare. It gives nostalgia. It gives trying to grasp at straws to where I truly don't know what the plot is. I think Robert Downey Jr. will be the standout in that entire movie. He is a great actor. I think he'll play a great Doom. I love Dr. Doom. I've just found myself with Marvel, and again, I grew up in the era of going to the theaters before I did any of this, just enjoying Marvel films, the hype of, the first Avengers movie, being in that theater, being in the theater for Infinity War and Endgame, and just how people reacted. Like, you cannot recreate that. And so I hope for Marvel after Doomsday or whatever they want to do is just to continue to create new stories, but just be authentic, be true to themselves, and just try to stay away maybe from the timeline stuff, maybe the multiverse stuff. Like, just let's get out of that. Let's do something else. Talk about the X-Men, which it looks like they're going in that path, especially if you've seen Brand New Day. So I think, there's a lot that they're going to continue to work on, and I want the best for the MCU because I do love the MCU at the end of the day. But Doomsday in particular, I'm going to keep my expectations low. I want to watch the movie, and I either want to leave very surprised, happier than I thought I was going to be, or just be like, another Avengers movie.
Yes, exactly. That is the biggest issue that I have.
Yeah.
That by this point we want something different. Because
100%.
we've had so many flops back to back. People are just like, and on top of that, we have so many series.
I think they're going to do away with them. I think there's a rumor they're going. That's why Wonder Man got canceled. I think they're scaling down. I think they're just going to boom, 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 start nixing more shows because it's just not working for them. Even though Wonder Man was a fantastic show and it was critically acclaimed, I just think it wastes money for them. Not enough people are watching, and I think they're just going to nix shows entirely.
I hope so, generally, because it is complicated that you're doing this and then you say, no, if you want to watch this movie, then you have to watch this show because it is connected to this and that. It is not possible for everyone to watch a series.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not fair. Like, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a perfect example of this. You would have been hella confused if you didn't see WandaVision, if you just went to go see that movie. Like, that movie to me was the start of the MCU not understanding their audience and not knowing what they're doing. And like, again, I get, like, you want to test some things out and see what happens. You tested it, it failed, move on. And if that's what they have to do to restructure, that's fine. And this might be a hot take, but the overall grand scheme of things, I know we talked prior. I watch shows as well. I know you don't watch as many shows, understandable. In the grand scheme of all the shows, Disney Plus for me, there are some shows that I like, but they've never left an impact like other shows from like House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Welcome to Derry. None of the Disney shows have ever made me think or wake up being like, oh, remember that awesome moment? Remember that awesome story versus other shows or IPs that have been doing shows for so long. I just think there are better shows overall compared to what Disney has been able to produce. The only exception might be Andor. I really liked Andor season 1 and season 2, but a lot of the Disney Marvel shows have never I'm going to watch that again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And another thing in here is that they're gambling everything that this movie will work and that people will be super happy. But then what happens if it doesn't work?
They'll keep pushing forward. They have so much money. Like they're never going to stop. I think they'll just realign. They'll either, if it doesn't work, they'll just push more on the X-Men thing that they're trying to build. And just kind of go in that different direction. Because even leading up to it, Fantastic Four did not impress me. Like it was fun, but it was a movie. It wasn't anything crazy. The last Marvel movie to impress me was Spider-Man. But again, I felt like I wasn't watching a Marvel movie. I felt like I was watching a Spider-Man movie. So it's like, and then the movies that I really like have heard nothing about. I love Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi, no sequel. Oh God, was that the last one? That might have been. But like, a lot of those movies too, it's just like, I still have hope. I still have hope for the MCU. I don't think they're dying. I don't think they're like washed up. I just think they're in this really weird rut right now that they are pushing too many IPs. Their ideas were fun at first, but they just need to realign. And if that means they have to get over this Avengers hump and either Doomsday will be great, that's awesome. Or if it's not, just go in a different direction. And if that means X-Men or X-Men versus the Avengers, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so I think that it is this point, and that's what I like about DC, what they're doing now. I grew up watching Justice League, so I'm biased towards DC.
I'm DC fan.
Yeah, I think
DC.
Many of us are like that.
Yeah,
that we love DC.
Underdog, man. I like the underdog. I love the underdogs. So
exactly. No, and the thing is that even if it was a kids show, it was dark. It wasn't super flowers and rainbows and all the stuff. It was very different. But now going back, do you think that this Infinity Vision will work?
I don't know. The Infinity Vision's so weird to me. Like I've kind of paid attention to it, kind of not. I think it's just a big marketing ploy, which is fine. Whatever. You want to do something different, try it, see what happens. We'll see how long it lasts. Honestly, I don't know.
Yes.
But with DC and Marvel, I mean, I still have a lot of hope for DC. I just want them to continue to tell dark stories. I think that's their biggest problem. You're dark. You've always been dark. I get Superman, not as dark. I get Supergirl, not as dark. Tell the dark stories. Tell the hard stories. Tell the stories that Marvel's afraid to do. Just stick to your bread and butter.
Yes, exactly. And the thing is that now the people that used to watch this Justice League and all, and that they read the comics and that they're hardcore fans, they're in our age group, late 20s, 30s, and we're the ones who can pay for going to the movie theater. You should remember that we're your audience. We're not kids, and yes, obviously kids will go watch, but in the end, if you go to a DC movie, usually it is grown-ups who are watching the movie. It's not the kids that are going. Why do you try to copy Marvel all the time? It will not work for you.
Yeah, don't do it.
That's why Batman worked with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, yeah.
Other people were so happy.
True to form, dark. He's a detective. I thought if you ever saw the Penguin show was phenomenal. I think the Batman 2 is going to be great. If DC really wants to bring the hype back, especially after how Supergirl was just not good, I do think Clayface is going to be good, but Clayface still is not going to pull over the hype that it needs right now. I think DC is not in a good place. I would love for them just to pull a Hail Mary in the Clayface movie or something, combine the universes with Matt Reeves' Batman. Just do it. Don't cast a new Batman. I wouldn't mind a new Batman. I get I get both sides, but just to get people hyped up again, get Robert Pattinson to be part of the DCU. Just combine the universes. You don't even need to have Superman and Batman theoretically together in a movie for a while, but it always makes sense to me that Gotham and that world was always naturally dark. It's its own world, like it is in the comics, where Superman's world, Metropolis, is the lighter version. So to me, keeping those separate, like the DCU, light and bright and funny and comedy, that makes sense. Matt Reeves' universe, where it's Batman dark and gritty, like Clayface, even though it's part of the DCU, Clayface in that movie would make sense in Matt Reeves' universe. Keep them separate, but also keep them canon in the same world. I think that would just bring a lot of hype to a lot of people, being, theories and you name it. I think the best marketing ploy would just be to tease, say in Clayface theoretically, that, Robert Pattinson's Batman is part of that universe and is officially part of the DCU.
Yeah, we do need more dark. I think I wish they would do something like they did in the series Gotham.
Oh man, that show had so much potential.
It was great.
Had so much potential. The first 3 seasons were great, and then it just that last season was rough.
It was great. Like once you start watching, you binge watch and you continue watching and watching, because they slowly cover everyone. They show all the villains that we've wanted to see from a very long time.
They rushed it, man. They rushed that ending. They could have kept going. They could have kept going for years.
Yes, I think that is what they should do on the big screen, like translate that, because it was working. People were talking about the series until now. Whenever someone asks about a recommendation for DC, they always recommend either the Penguin series or Gotham.
Oh, dude, Jeremiah was great. Great. Like, oh my God, him, the Penguin, everyone did a really, really good job in that show. It just got rushed near the end, but it was still very solid.
Yes, but okay, I'll change the topic, because otherwise
good. We'll rant about DC forever.
I'll just get sad that whatever has happened to DC, because whenever you think it is getting good and like finally they're recovering and they're doing something nice, then they just fuck up always.
Well, it's crazy. This is the last thing we'll say, but it's crazy. It's like, where did all the Snyder fans come from? Like, once Superman was going on and everything, it's like I was a fan of Snyder too, but like when we were going to theaters, when we were watching Justice League, it was nothing but shitting on the Snyder films. Why all of a sudden, once James Gunn takes over, oh my God, the Snyder films were amazing. Where were you guys? Where were you guys like 3 years ago? Like, we needed you. Like, where did all these fans come from? So, I don't know. It's very interesting, but I definitely think DC should stay dark, with the stories that make the sense, tell the hard stories, and start getting the heavy hitters in there. I think there's a good argument to be made. I know it sucks to get a new Wonder Woman, to get a new Batman, to get all these things, but to really get butts in seats, you got to get the heavy hitters, give them their independent movies, put it in the DCU universe, but you got to start getting those heavy hitters in there instead of the side characters.
Yes, exactly. You have to build up again from scratch. You cannot trust in whatever was built before. If you want to make something new, a new universe, you have to do like they did with Avengers back in the day. That first we got this Iron Man, then we got the Hulk, and then we got this Black Widow and all the stuff. And once we knew everyone, then you can do. You're not even putting the proper characters that were in the Justice League.
Yep.
And then you want people to be happy about it. It will not happen.
And like, don't get me wrong. I'm very excited for Clayface, and it's going to be a good movie, but that's like a side character of a side character. You need to like bring it a little bit closer. Like a Catwoman movie would be dope. Someone that's a little bit bigger than Clayface. There's so much they need to do. There's so much they need to do. Get another Justice League member in there, but someone that's like, honestly, Martian Manhunter. I feel like that would do decent. I think that'd be fun.
Yes, it will be something different. And even I think you have this issue with the comics and everything, just copy the Arkham games. Copy them and put them on the big screen. They're so great. Just copy them and put the story in there.
Easily, 100%. But they might mess it up too anyway.
Yeah. These creative liberties that they take.
I know.
Is
That was my problem with Supergirl, man. Too many creative liberties. I love that Jason Momoa was in it, but I also didn't want him in it. You know, he's great as Lobo. I love Jason Momoa. I love him as an actor, you know, but you didn't need him in that movie. It should have been a Supergirl movie solo, not Supergirl and Lobo.
I don't know what happens through their minds, what they think when they're making the movie. Like they don't read the forums, they don't check Reddit, what people are saying about the movie.
No. Or if they do, they ignore it and then tweet about it later. James Gunn, I love you. Don't fail me. I still believe in you. But if you say you're going to check the script and you approved it, did you really approve Supergirl? I don't know.
Yeah. But now changing to a better topic that has more hope this year, it is horror.
Yeah, the horror genre is popping off right now.
Yes, it is finally working. I'm really happy about this. I think everywhere I'm just talking, like finally we're getting good horror films after so many bad movies that we had previously and so many dead. But why do you think now finally horror movies are improving?
I think it was luck of the draw. I think, you know, A24 and the rest of these studios, you know, for them, it's just another horror movie. I don't think anybody expected Obsession or the Backrooms to do as well as they did, you know. And even before that, Iron Lung by Markiplier. Markiplier do that? Big YouTuber. I totally gonna get grilled for that. But all these independent or, you know, YouTube directors doing these horror movies and it blowing up was definitely something I don't think the studios were expecting. And I think it's just a sign of people want fresh new ideas. They want stories. They, you know, are, I wouldn't necessarily say sick of the superhero craze, but because the superhero genre has been so rinse and repeat and pretty much the same, where very little has surprised. Because even though I really like Spider-Man and I thought it was a very enjoyable film, it is still at the end of the day a superhero movie and predictable. Like that was one of my negatives about the Supergirl, about the Spider-Man movie, is that the story is predictable. You know what's happening with the villain. You know how it's going to progress. What made it unique was that it was more of a Spider-Man story than really focusing on the villain, but just the villain aspect of that movie, very predictable. Nothing surprised me there. So I think with this horror movie genre that's going on, it's just fresh new ideas. You know, I love Obsession. I love the Backrooms. I recently got to watch the Buddy movie, which is getting its theatrical release at the end of this month. It was showed at Sundance. It's the giant orange unicorn with a pickaxe. Looks like Barney, 90s kids cartoon. Highly recommend it. I think that's going to be in the conversation of fun, original horror movie ideas. It's not as good as Obsession and the Backrooms, but I think it is in the conversation to being unique and fun and different and creative. And so I think people are just excited to watch new things and just to experience horror movies with also a little bit more substance. You know, Obsession tells a really dark story where people are going to get different perspectives. They're going to either look at it as an abuse story. They're going to look at it as a maybe just a dark horror story. You know, there's a lot of conversation about that movie by itself. With the Backrooms, it's just creative. You're dealing with something that we haven't seen, you know, ever kind of put on the big screen, and also just the creativity behind it, supporting someone that was a YouTuber. So I think there are a lot of good elements happening overall. Even with Universal's dropping a movie later this year, Other Mommy and Blumhouse already were promoting the studio that brought you Obsession and the studio that brought you Backrooms, even in promotional stuff right now. So they know that people are attached to these new original ideas and they're already trying to push it on their new horror movies. So it's very interesting. I think Hollywood had no idea. They had no idea what was going to happen, and they're already trying to grab a bunch of new IPs like Siren Head, like The Cat. They're already going in that direction. Now, where if I were to go in this direction is where now my concern is, how many times can you hit lightning in a bottle, just like Marvel? Are these big studios going to be able to produce and tell the stories like Obsession and the Backrooms? I don't know. We'll have to see. But like with anything, when you overproduce and you give too much and it turns out to just be the same thing over and over again, the horror genre, unfortunately, I hope not, I don't think so, could also suffer from the superhero genre and just be overproduced. So I hope that doesn't happen. But right now, I just think it's a breath of fresh air for a lot of viewers.
Yes.
A long-winded answer.
Nice. I liked it that you gave me a long answer, because that means you are thinking about it. And
I've been thinking about it for a while.
Yes. And in my case, I also give it a thought about what is happening. Because yes, we're excited to see all these movies with new concepts and all this stuff. But I think those of us back in the day that used to read these creepypastas, we know that there was a time that it was super like everywhere. You would see it on Facebook, here and there. But then it died.
Yeah.
People got bored.
Died.
It became the same of the same. So now they're relying on copying these creepypastas and translating them into movies. But okay, it will work for a while. But once that is done and you already burn all the bridges that you can use, then what you will do?
Yeah, you move on. They move on to the next thing. So at least we'll enjoy it for a few years. And if the movies are good and it lasts for a little bit, you know what? I'm in it. I'm on for the ride. I think the one thing, and they're already talking about that with some of the creepypastas, bring the original creators. If you bring the original creators in, that will give you more time, more longevity. Let them do what they want to do, just like the Backrooms and Obsession, because they got to, like Kane Parsons, they got to do what they wanted to do creatively. And if you give that creative freedom and not have too much studio interference, you should have a recipe for success.
Yes. However, I'll tell you one thing personally. I didn't like Obsession.
No, it's okay. I can understand that. It's dark.
Yeah.
It's very dark.
It is. It is not the fact that it is dark. For me, it was a very underwhelming movie.
Yeah.
For the fact that it is more of a thriller than horror itself.
No, that's fair.
It is more kind of psychological thriller. And another thing is that while watching the movie, I had the same issue that finally now people are pointing out, is that so many scenes, they were exactly the same from other horror movies.
Yeah. But I mean, I get that, but if we were to go down that pipeline, we're going to see so many like copy and pastes. You know what I mean? Like the classic, and some movies joke about it now. Girl in the bathroom looking at herself in the mirror, opens the mirror, closes the mirror. There's something behind her. That has been done a bajillion times in horror movies, and to a point now that it's like you think it's coming and the horror movie will trick you and nothing's there. Then she'll turn left or right and then it'll happen. So it's like, I completely agree with that statement, but I feel like if we were to go down that path, then we got to criticize all of them.
Yeah, there are many movies that definitely they have copied, but the thing is that with Obsession, the biggest praise, at least in the marketing stuff, was that it is super original film. Things that you have never seen, which is actually not like that. It is something that we have seen many times.
That I agree.
And it is not something like completely surprised me, or it was also predictable what would happen. Like, if you have a habit of watching this type of movies, you will see that it is super predictable. Meanwhile, for example, the Backrooms, I would never have been able to predict the end.
No, not at all. Not at all. But again, I was going in blind. So for me, I had that, at least for me, I had that wonderful, like I had no idea what was going to happen, but that's nice too. I mean, if I had to pick over the two, it's Backrooms over Obsession. I think.
And did you watch The Undertone?
Undertone? I don't think I did.
No. Watch it.
Undertone?
Definitely watch it. Yes, it is a really great movie.
What was another horror movie? I watched Buddy. Send Help was fine. This was, speaking about just bad horror movies, The Mummy and then Silent Hill. Those two movies were god awful. You want to talk about movies that just had no idea what they were talking about? The Mummy is a Resident Evil cover. That is not a Mummy movie. That's a Resident Evil movie. Or an Evil Dead movie. Pick your poison.
Yeah. It felt more like a mix of the two, and
Yeah.
it became really famous because of the gore part and the disgusting stuff that they put, more than an original story that we want to watch. Like at least what they have been doing with Evil Dead.
Yeah.
So they're changing a bit here there. And
I like the camp of Evil Dead, so I'm not disappointed about the newest one. I was like, meh, kind of to your point. Seen it all before.
Yeah, that is the thing. But at least I feel that Evil Dead has been one of the few horror franchises that they're trying to reinvent themselves instead of just leaning like the same, like Insidious.
Yeah. But you know what? Insidious will still make numbers. I will still be sad for that. It is what it is. It's like the Conjuring movies. I know what I'm getting myself into. You know what I mean? I'm mostly watching it for the actors. I think they do a fantastic job. I will watch the prequel of the Conjuring that they're going to do. Last Rites was not good, but it was better than the one before. But I know what I'm getting myself into when it comes to those movies.
I just hope that they will be able eventually to do something better or just completely stop it.
No, I agree.
Because you're also damaging the legacy, like it happened with this Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Oh, they made so many of those.
Yeah, Paranormal Activity in Mexico, then in here, then in there, then 0, 10, 20.
They're like, we're going somewhere with it. VHS kind of did that, not as many. And then I think they're doing that with Quiet Place. I think they're going to beat the hell out of Quiet Place.
Yes,
Just
there
too
was
many
no
movies.
need for the latest Quiet Place. I think
The
day
prequel,
one.
day one.
Yeah,
I heard mixed things. I heard it was decent, but it was like meh.
yeah. I didn't find, like, when you already made 2 great movies, there's no need to make.
Yeah, the sequel was
Like
pretty good too.
Yeah, that is the issue, that they just, something works and then they just milk it till they just completely damage the legacy.
Or they give something new and original, or just maybe just different. Like, because 28 years later, The Bone Temple that came out in January was phenomenal. But again, marketing was the problem. They didn't market correctly. Too many people thought it was 28 years later. The first one didn't know this was the sequel to that new version. And then, so no one went. But when I watched that movie, I was very impressed. Very impressed. It was very enjoyable. I think it's still in my number 1 spot for my favorite movie of the year. Was 28 years later. The Bone Temple specifically. If you for some reason want to watch it on streaming, highly recommend watching it. I thought there was some really good performances in there.
Yes, that is the issue, that they are, like, again, the example of Evil Dead and then Insidious. Insidious is just copying the same thing all over again and again and again. Someone is having dreams. The auntie, she goes inside. She helps. Something happens to her.
Yep.
Done. The movie's over. Some random creature will come and cool. We're fine. We're safe again. But then at least Evil Dead, they're trying something here, there. They're changing the script a bit. They're introducing characters, changing the story. At least that's why it is working for them. But here it's just like copy paste.
And that's another reason I think these actual true original stories are doing so well. And I think that's why a lot of people, when it comes out later this month, people were going to like Buddy. Buddy was fun. It wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it was really good. It was really good for what it told. It was creative. It was so creative. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy Buddy.
I hope it gets released in here. Many movies, they don't get released in here, but we'll try. And a movie that we were quite excited for, but then we have seen that there's a lot of discussion around it, and especially backlash. It is the Ice Cream Man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Resident Evil.
No.
Resident Evil's having some issues too. I refuse to watch Ice Cream Man. I'm good. I've seen enough. Not watching it. Don't care. The minute it got confirmed, it was a bunch of AI, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But I haven't seen it, so this might not be a fair comparison. I don't know. And maybe it's just because he was murdering children. It's psycho killer, murdering children, really, really, really dark. It seems like he went the Terrifier route, but we praise Terrifier, which I do like the Terrifier films for what they are, but I understand they're not they're not that creative. It was just perfect time, perfect place. So again, someone might have to like correct me on this. Again, I'm not going to watch Ice Cream Man, but it's like we have an issue with Ice Cream Man, but we don't have an issue with Terrifier. I don't know if that's a fair comparison.
What they're saying, well, if you have watched the OG movie,
Mm-hmm.
the OG movie wasn't so good either.
Is it based off the OG movie? Is it a sequel or is it a remake? Is that what I didn't know that?
From what I know, it is kind of a remake. But
really?
The thing is that, like, if you have a base that the OG movie is not that great, it is very mid, and then you're just making something like that, and like for me, it doesn't make sense. That you are trying just to make something that already failed. That is like, now people know about it because this cult following and hidden gems and all that stuff. But it's just because it is an old movie. But that doesn't mean and translate that is a good movie.
100%. Or if you are going to do it, make sure you don't take it seriously at all. Like, Toxic Avenger. Like, I felt like they knew in Toxic Avenger the old movies from the 80s were not good, and so they chose the comedy route. So if you were to do that, poke fun at it, make it funny, be camp, like if you were to redo, I'm trying to think of a good one. What's a horror movie?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, no, that's a great example. If you were to redo Killer Clowns of Outer Space, make it campy, make it stupid. Do not take that movie seriously at all.
Yeah, or you can either do the opposite, which is taking the concept and making something even better.
Yeah.
There are two options that you can you watch the movie and you understand what was wrong, and then you like give it a plastic surgery. And fix whatever is botched and put something good on the screen. That is another option, but there has been so many things. And another issue that was that they said there was no CGI, and then there is like, no, it is not CGI, but it is AI.
Yeah, the minute you said that with how people feel about AI, I'm like, you just cooked yourself. Absolutely cooked yourself.
Yeah, they completely fucked it up. And you mentioned Resident Evil, so we will talk about Resident Evil.
Yeah. And I'm still gonna watch it, but I'm assuming you probably saw the interviews as well. It just seems like there's a lot of backtracking. There seems like there's a lot of maybe not necessarily he's sure what he's doing with the material, because he made two really good original movies. He made Weapons and he made Barbarian. Great films. When it comes to IP films or films that have a cult following, it definitely gets tricky. He's telling his own story, and I'm still going to watch it. I'm still excited for Resident Evil. But I know some people are definitely not sure about it right now.
Yes, I once again, I don't understand why they just don't copy whatever is happening on the video game and make a movie about it.
Or just copy one of the good ones. You should have made Resident Evil Village. I want to see that as a movie. I think that game is amazing. Give me a movie version of Resident Evil Village. It's a great story from start to finish, and you could easily, make some really fun content out of that.
Yes, I think if we had the money, the budget, we would just be making movies that are exactly a copy of the video game, because it is so entertaining. I don't play video games. My husband is the one who plays them, but I will just sit and tell him, you finish the game, because I want to know what happens by the end of the story.
Yeah, there's some really great stories in video games, 100%.
I don't know what happens to creators that they just decide to create something random that has nothing to do with the main characters.
Yep. You gotta stick to, like, I can understand creative liberties, but if it hurts the character to a point where it's unrecognizable, then it's where you gotta change some things.
Exactly. And another thing that we have in here is the mix of social media when it comes to movies. That I feel so many movies, they get declared a masterpiece or a disaster before they even reach the audiences. And that also kind of damages the experience, because it has happened to me that many times people are like, oh, this movie is a masterpiece. You'll never see anything like this again. And you go with that expectation that the movie will be like that. And then you watch it and it's a very mediocre movie. Or the opposite. Like they say it is shit and then it is not. It's pretty decent.
I think because I do a lot of movie reviews, and I think I've gotten better at it over time. With social media, it's, people have the attention span of a squirrel. So unfortunately, when you're making videos, especially short form content, you have to draw that person in. Not a lot of people, rightfully so. You come across my page, you don't trust me, you don't really know who I am. Why would you listen to my movie review? I want to build that relationship with you. So, when it comes to creating content, a lot of my movie reviews for those first few seconds is usually trying to work on the hook. Why, this is the greatest movie of all time or whatever. My hooks are a lot different now, and I would say a little bit more substance, but generalizing a little bit is that most creators, especially in short form, will try to get you with that hook. If you get past that hook, I always try to give the reasons that the film, what worked for me, what didn't work for me, why you should probably go see this and form your own opinion, and then I'll give you my overall summary near the end and where I stand. But I always try, at least for me, to make sure that no matter what I say, no matter what my opinion is, you need to go form your own opinion. Because there are plenty of movies that I didn't like that other people liked, and vice versa, or a lot of ones where people just agree. But I think it's a combination of the world we live in now, because there are a lot of creators that will just say the bare minimum, and maybe they just don't know how to articulate. It does take time. I was never perfect at this. I wouldn't even say I'm perfect now. I'm always still trying to evolve, and trying to get better. So I think it's a combination of that, and just trying to get the clicks, trying to get the views, trying to say the most outrageous thing. So out of creators in general, I would just hope keep evolving, keep working on your craft, but also just trying to give good substance to people, to again just go form your own opinion. No one should ever take any of my reviews 100% fact, because everyone is going to form their own opinion. I'm just giving you my opinion, like we're having a conversation. But I do agree that I think definitely with the rise of social media, it could definitely make or break a movie in many ways. It just depends on how many videos you're watching beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if this is a topic that happens a lot in the US, but in here it is definitely discussed about this paid reviewers.
Oh, I would love to talk about this. I'm so ready.
You go ahead.
It doesn't happen. There is okay. Let me say this. It does and it doesn't. It does in the sense that PR boxes or gifts or maybe going to an early screening. But at least for me and a lot of my mutuals, that does not mean we are going to give a over positive review. And you got to read between the lines when it comes to a lot of these reviews, because you need to kind of almost listen to what we say. And that I have never been paid for a review ever. I've never been reached out by a studio. Hey, can you go watch this movie, give us a review, make sure it's positive. Never in writing ever has that ever happened. Even talking to the big dogs, the bigger content creators, it never happens. There is an underlining truth to it, though, where some creators feel that they have to say certain things positive because they want to continue to be invited back to that studio. The good studios want the honesty. I have been very happy to do a lot of reviews for a lot of Universal films. And when I did my Disclosure Day review, I remember sending it in because I'm also a critic. I'm getting approved officially to be a critic here in the state of Florida. I live in Florida. And with that, we get sent a lot of early screenings, a lot of press stuff, and they send in our reviews to the studios. And early on, when I was doing Disclosure Day, I even emailed them and I said, hey, my Disclosure Day review is not the most positive, just FYI. And they wrote back, no, we want that 100%. We want honesty. So the right studios are honest. But there is, another thing with other creators, and I try not to be that creator, where again they are just going to be a little bit more nice about certain things because they don't want to miss the invite. They don't want to not get it, like get the PR boxes, or get quote unquote blacklisted. But physical money, actually getting paid to say something for a review, does not exist because studios do not want that backlash, if that makes sense.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, that does not happen. I've never been paid in that way. Again, people could make the argument, PR boxes, early screenings, all that stuff. That's great. For me and my moral code, I'm still going to give you an honest review. Or if I truly just do not like the movie, I'm not going to waste time making a video. Like, honest to God, I'm not. If I didn't like it, go read my letterbox. You can see my honest review. I will literally have it at 2 stars or 1 stars. I'm not wasting my time making a video on a 2-star, 1-star review movie, because why would you watch that in the first place? Why would you want to go watch a review where I'm just completely dogging on a movie? I think it's also the way that, certain people articulate things and say certain things. And again, it's something that you just don't necessarily get immediately. And again, I'm still working on it. I'm still just trying to be good at certain things and making sure I give good substance to people. But there's a difference between a reviewer just being like, hey, the Odyssey was absolutely shit. They kept changing every gender and race or whatever. That's a horrible review. And a studio, yes, is going to blacklist you and not want to work with you. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Instead, you form it into the, hey, the Odyssey is one of the best films of the movie. A lot of people are thinking that, but here are things that worked for me and here are things that didn't. And just giving a really good, detailed, actual substance review. And not everyone gets that. And I'm still trying to work on it. And I would say some of my reviews really are good in that aspect, but it's something that you learn over time. So, I agree with the statement, but I mostly disagree with that statement because there is truly not people getting paid. So when you get the bots, paid review, I'm like, it doesn't exist. It does not exist. And if it did, there would be more documentation of it actually happening, like physical proof. Like, this person got paid $1,000 to $2,000 for this review. Does not happen. It's just people being honest with some bias because they do want to maybe stay in good graces with the studios, which some creators do. That's fine. But the right studios, and people know the right studios, understand to be professional in their reviews, to where even though it might not be the best review for the studio, that honesty is going to want them to work with them again. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like, in here, it does happen that people get paid reviews. It is very easy to understand because everyone has the same script. So they will say the same thing in the review. But yeah, it is an issue that it is like growing. However, there are a few PR companies that they're working on changing things a bit, that instead of just getting people to get paid, they will give you the experience and all that stuff. But still, in here, it does happen. Like, until I came into this world, I didn't know it was a thing that people get paid for giving a review. And like, there are movies that they will be bad. You can see from the trailer that the movie is bad. So they just pay a lot of reviewers to say like, oh no, this movie is good because of this and this and that, and some random dialogue that it doesn't make sense.
It's just weird because it's like, essentially, if you cannot digest or figure out who is faking their review versus an actual review, do yourself a favor, do a deep dive on their content. Go watch all their videos, see what their consistency is, see how it is, and just try to pinpoint how that creator really is. Because that instead of just being a bot and going in and be like, oh, paid review just because you don't agree with my opinion, is lazy. Go do a deep dive, figure out who this creator is, and kind of make up your own opinion on that. But again, as a creator and responsibility, be honest, be professional. And, if a studio is truly forcing you, because they're not, to give a positive review, it's more or less because you don't want to be on their bad side and you're just not being honest with yourself. Work with the right studios. It's being a content creator, being a business owner, you have a right to be professional. You have a right. You should want to be professional. You should want to, have a moral compass. So if there is a studio or a movie or whatever that just doesn't, or it comes to me and says, hey, we want a positive review, I'm going to gladly tell them I'm going to give an honest review. And if it happens to be positive, it will, but I'm going to give you the good. I'm going to give you the bad. And I'm going to give you my overall experience. If you want to pay me for that, we can do that. But I will never get paid to blatantly lie.
Yeah.
I will never blatantly lie, period.
Owe it. Yeah, exactly. You owe it to your audience. Because in the end, because of their views, is that we have reached to the point that we are right now.
Yeah.
And if then we're lying to them, then what is the 100%.
Point? And again, I just, and a vast majority of not a vast majority, when I do get those comments, it's truly just because people just don't agree. There were movies that completely surprised me that I really thought people weren't going to like and ended up liking. Like, I got dogged on for my Disclosure Day review. I didn't like Disclosure Day. And then the opposite happened. What movie did I like that people are like, you like? Oh, It Just Happened. Actually, I enjoyed this movie. One Night Only. It was a rom-com. I don't do rom-coms, but I went to it. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really decent rom-com. It kind of sat with like maybe 16 Candles or any of those, or The Proposal, like a classic rom-com is a different take. My review was positive, but of course I would still get like, oh, this is a paid review. Like, no, I'm just being honest. The movie was horrible. I'm like, I'm glad you think it's horrible, but I'm on. Like, I shared with you what I said worked for me, what didn't work for me, and I gave you a summary, and that was it. Take that information, go form your own opinion. Do I wish I got paid for that? Absolutely. I need money, but like I didn't, because it rarely does. It rarely happens. Even here's a good one. I didn't like Disclosure Day. Did a review. Months later, I ended up getting a PR package for Disclosure Day. I wasn't required to make a video. I didn't make a video. I made a story. I said, hey, Disclosure Day is on streaming, or it's on digital. That's it. No opinion whatsoever. Just announcing that this movie, that even though I didn't like it, you go form your own opinion. They weren't holding my hands. They weren't like, oh my God, you talked really bad about Disclosure Day. You have to go post about this now. No, my own choice. So even though a lot of people think people get paid, they really don't. And I've talked to Straw Hat, I've talked to Stoops, I've talked to the big dogs, I've talked to Soups. Yes, there are paid trips. Yes, there are opportunities that there is money involved, but a 1-for-1, we are paying you specifically for this review, almost not at all, or rarely even happens.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know, because I always had this doubt how it happens in the US, how it is for you guys in there. And now we will go to Indian cinema, because I know the public will ask us about this. And do you know anything about Indian cinema? Have you watched any movie?
I think the last movie that I was in, I think it was an Indian film. Oh my God. It came out last year, didn't it? It was an animated film. I don't know. I'm going to go with no, because I don't even remember the title. So let's say no.
Okay. But have you heard of the movie RRR or Triple R?
Yeah, actually, yes. I did. I heard it was great.
Okay, so from your perspective, as someone who mainly covers Hollywood and Western cinema, do you think RR truly had an impact on how Western audiences looked at Indian cinema?
I think, from my knowledge and from what I've heard, I think yes. I think all movies everywhere should get love. If you have a good story being told, at the end of the day, it should get all the love. Coming from an anime side, anime in general has become very popular and westernized in America. So when you have a good story, you have something, America is a melting pot with not just people, but with creative ideas. So I think with, movies made in India there and coming over here, if it is a good story, then it should be praised like anything else. I just got done with indie film, indie series. It just did its pilot, and it was from a Brazilian writer. Most of the cast was from Brazil. Very nice, amazing time, amazing pilot. Very excited for it to hopefully get a greenlit by a studio. But these, just like indie films, just like indie shows, just like movies from other countries, I think creatively in the art of making movies should be celebrated everywhere. And if it's a great story, then yes, I would love to see more stories from different countries get more exposure. I think Netflix kind of does a good job at that. They put a lot of good projects. I have definitely found myself in a rabbit hole of Korean shows. I love Korean shows. There's a lot of good ones. I love Physical 100. Obviously Squid Games, who doesn't like Squid Games? I think there are a lot of good shows from other countries, and I think even more streaming services besides Netflix should start tapping into them. So to answer your question,
and before RRR, did people really talk about Indian movies, or it was more after it?
I would say more after it. I would say it was very rare, but that's also the nature of the beast, because it's the US, it's Hollywood. Like, this is where the movies were made, the big dogs. We're kind of the golden standard, I would say. Maybe, I don't know if that's too egotistical, but like, America's big. We always like everything big. So, and again, also living in America, where you only pretty much know America stuff, American things. But I think R&R definitely opened that gateway. I think it definitely made people, hopefully, I would hope, just like every other things of media, be like, oh, there are other forms of media in other places. Let me check that out. I think it's the access that, if anything, needs to be worked on. The access to be able to view movies or projects like that in other countries. If that makes sense. Yes, but yes, I think the conversation of that movie, more people were talking about Indian films.
And now we have two movies that they're huge projects in here. One is Ramayana, and another one is Varanasi. So I don't know if you heard about them.
Not at all.
Ramayana is basically the story of Lord Ram. He's one of, the god Krishna?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lord Ram, he came before him. All of them, Krishna and everything, they're incarnations of the god Vishnu. So whenever there's different yug, which is, you can say, eras. There's different eras in the world. So every single time there's also, like, the same way you have good, you have evil.
Yeah.
So in the time of Lord Krishna, there was a different type of evil. That's why Lord Krishna got sent here to Earth. Then before that, we got Lord Ram. And there was one Raksha, which is like a demon, that he used to live in Sri Lanka. So basically, you can say it is kind of a war between good and evil. They show the story of Lord Ram, what he came to our planet, why he was here, the struggle that he went through to save Earth and people from that demon.
Okay. That sounds fun.
So, but it is a live action. It is not animated.
Not animated.
And they're working with DNEG, the same people that animated Dune and all this stuff, with the CGI.
Heck yeah.
Yes. And the music is with this Hans Zimmer. I think that is how you pronounce it.
Really? That's crazy.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It is. Yeah, they were in the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think actually I did. I think I might have saw some of that. Like, I was at San Diego, so I might have seen some of the posters and advertisement for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that movie is coming this year. It is a huge project. They're putting a lot of money into that movie. But I'll tell you one thing. I just have one issue.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing is that you're showing a movie about an Indian god and
Mhm.
he's really important. He's like in the end it is kind of a religious movie
Yeah.
because you're talking about their god. I feel like the part that has been wrong in the marketing is that they haven't introduced it to you guys. I'm
Oh,
blessed that
yeah.
I'm here in India and I know who he is. I know what is the story because I have watched the series.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in the US, people they don't know, they don't
No.
understand. And if I show you that poster, like that was your thought, it is an animated movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the marketing, I was like, "Oh, that looks like an animated movie," which should be cool. That's not gonna deteriorate me. I like animated stuff too. Um, you know, I could it being, a religious movie, I could understand because it's going to be more impactful for people that understand that religion. Um, with, obviously America, Christianity being the biggest religion out here, I could definitely see a lot of people not wanting to go see a movie based on not their religion that they believe in. And also religious movies in general in America don't usually tend to do that well from my understanding number wise. I might be wrong. But marketing wise, yeah, if that's a movie that they want to be a little bit more looked at in America, they definitely need to pump out that marketing real quick because this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
That is my point because I know they're targeting US, and actually, it is crazy that they're releasing the movie in the US 2 days before than in here.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird because I would almost say that you should release it in India first, hopefully hear the hype or even the reviews from that audience, and then be like, hey, by the way, it's going to get released in the US. That also that happened with Dracula. Dracula came out in February, but it was released in France 6 months prior. And people said, decent things about it, but the word of mouth came through to where they released it in America 6 months later, but it was originally released in France. It was an okay film. It was fun. It was different, but I only caught wind of it because it was released prior and people were talking about it in France.
That is my main point. Like, you see what happened with Godzilla.
Yeah.
It got released first in Japan, and then everyone was dying to watch it, and they were just waiting and waiting because the hype that it
Yeah,
happened in
dude.
Japan that didn't translate everywhere.
I waited forever for that movie.
Yeah, and that is the thing. Like here, I don't know if you've heard of the festival Diwali.
Mm-mm.
That they light up a lot of lights,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll not go into the complexity of that festival, but
Yeah,
basically it is, you can say, like the Hindu New Year
yeah,
in
yeah,
short.
yeah.
And they're gonna release it on that day, but in the US they want to release it 2 days before because it is Friday. But again, I still have an issue with that because your main crowd should be your Indian crowd. They're the
Yeah.
ones who know the story. They're the ones
They're
who
gonna
have the
understand it.
love for the story.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're
100%.
the ones who will actually create the hype in the US because the people in the
Yes.
US who will watch it are the Indians.
Yep.
Those who were born in the US but their parents are Indians or who left the
100%.
country and are working in there. And then they will tell their US friends, like, oh, there's this great movie, come to watch it with me.
Yeah.
It is
Easily.
amazing.
Easily. That's how you
But-
should do it.
Exactly. I'm so happy that
That's just marketing 101. Honestly, that just makes the most sense. Exactly. Just like he said with Godzilla, how it was for Dracula for me. Like, yes, 100%. So that's crazy that they're not doing that.
Yes, exactly. That is my point. Like, even if you want to release it in the US, like you could release it first in here on the festival, and then you wait like 5 days till the next Friday or Thursday, whichever day they release in the US, and then go
Just
with
to
it.
build up some hype.
Exactly, because then you will have the Indian content creators in the US
Yep.
already giving that hype. Because from what I've been doing a lot of research, checking in the US which are the content creators that are hyping this movie.
Probably very little.
Very little, almost
No.
none, almost
Yeah,
zero. The
very
ones
little,
that are
probably none.
hyping up Exactly. Like
Yeah.
that's why I also wanted to ask you, because you have other content creator friends.
Yeah.
And you tell them if you see a movie that is different or that is like it has potential, you'll tell them like, oh, this movie is looking great. Let's
Yeah.
go watch it.
100%. That just word of mouth. You can never beat word of mouth. That's easily why I would say Obsession did as well as it did, and even Backrooms to a point. Like there was hype, but the aftermath, and also on top of it being a decent movie, word of mouth also carried.
And you know what's crazy? They released the trailer in English. They like it is in Hindi and the other languages.
Yeah.
But they will release the movie in English, and they also release the trailer in English. But it's still people, whoever I've talked to that they live in the US, they don't know about the movie. They
No,
don't have
no
any
idea.
idea about it.
No
But
idea.
still, you're giving preference to your US crowd.
Yeah, that makes no sense. It should go to India first, and then hopefully it generates enough hype for it to be released in the United States.
Yes, let's see how it will work.
Yeah.
What will happen? Because at least I'm very disappointed in that. Till I'll tell you honestly, it looks good. It is, yes, about their God, but it is not like super. It is not a preachy movie.
Yeah.
It is the story of his journey and all. So it
Yeah.
is super entertaining for anyone. But again, you haven't shown anything to the US crowd. You cannot think that they will know
100%
about
know
him and
anything
what
about it.
happened.
You got to add some sort of interest, for people to be invested.
And then we'll change to Varanasi. Varanasi is the upcoming movie of the director from RR.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yes. And very interestingly, it is super interesting actually that he is also like his character is also Lord Ram,
Mm-hmm.
but he's going on a very different direction. It's like completely opposite. He's doing something else. He's doing time travel.
Okay.
He's doing like jumping from different locations. He's doing recordings in many countries. It is crazy. It is amazing. And I feel for that movie, more people will have the hype. Like, from your perspective, once again, I'm asking you if you knew that
Yeah.
this movie Varanasi is releasing and is from the same director of RR, would you go watch it?
I have not seen RR, but I feel like the people and my friends that have seen it and liked it, yes, because they would, be attached to that movie and they liked it. It would give another film, another chance, from a different country as well. Yeah. I think so, easily.
Yes, I also
You know?
think so. The same, and it is ironic that Varanasi they have done like less promos.
Mm-hmm.
They have been a bit more understated. They have been a bit more like they have done a few interviews with like for example Screen Rant,
Yeah.
but it's still their hype is more there, and I think that internationally people are paying more attention to him versus this other movie that generally
Hey.
they haven't.
Sometimes you need that one breakout director, so I get it. You get that one breakout director, people will. I mean, I'll go to every Del Toro film he'll ever make. Like he's one of my favorite directors. So there are people out there that will just Christopher Nolan. I mean, people will just go for the director as well. So if you get a breakout director, that is just going to help with marketing.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think like US wise, Varanasi might have more of a shot because of that same thing.
Yes, and there's a little bit more, relationship with people that see an R&R.
Yeah, so let's see. You let me know once the movie get released. If
I will.
Hear
I will.
anything.
I'll see if I get an early screening or if I hear anything about it. I'll tell you, or just crickets.
Yeah, you let me know. I do want to know what is happening because the thing is that one thing is what you see on social media that oh yes the people are coming in the Comic-Con and they're coming, but then you went to the Comic-Con and you didn't even know properly about this.
I don't know if I'm the fair person to ask that. I probably spent only like 7 hours total within the 4 days actually physically at the convention. I was jumping around doing a bunch of promo, doing a bunch of videos for companies. I might not be the perfect person to ask if there was a lot of advertisement on that. Because again, during San Diego, it was work. It was work weekend for me. So I might have to ask some of my other friends if they saw any promo on it.
you let us know. We
I
will.
will.
We would like to know the truth of what is happening in the U.S.
I will. But I think I could definitely say, at least with U.S. projects, a vast majority of them definitely probably get more attention. Obviously so.
And now we will go back to Hollywood.
Yeah.
We forgot one movie, and that is Dune Part 3. That is getting all the IMAX screens in
It
the
is.
world.
Every single one of them.
Yes. Do you think that after the two films, the expectations are almost too high?
From my personal experience, I'm not entirely sure because I didn't like Doom 1. I like Doom 2 more. Crazy, I know. But so Doom 3 I am gonna watch just because I'm really interested now in the story and seeing how everything's gonna go. I don't know. I actually think more people are interested to watch Dune 3 than they are Doomsday. I think I could see Dune 3 being the last film, it making more money, it doing very, very well compared to Doomsday. So I don't think it's overhyped, at least right now. And also there's not a lot of trailers. They only got like 2. They got a teaser trailer and a full trailer right now. They're not over advertising it. It's still early, but they're not over advertising it. So I think right now it's the calm before the storm. We'll see back in November. Then when they really ramp up the ads, then it might be overhyped.
You read my mind that I was gonna ask you which one do you think is most likely
Probably
to. Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yes,
I think Doomsday will still make money, but I think Dune 3, performance-wise as well, will just do better.
It will depend on what they will show us on the screen.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, like if they deliver an amazing movie in Doomsday, then obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But now the odds are more on Dune Part 3.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes. And now we already covered everything related to movies. I wanted to ask you a bit about anime.
Yeah.
We are not able to watch whatever is releasing right now, whatever is ongoing.
Yeah.
But I did wanted to ask you if you could recommend at least 3 animes that you think everyone should watch.
Of course, I'm going to give you the big heavy hitters. I'll give you some of the newer heavy hitters. I mean, if you haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, I think Jujutsu Kaisen is phenomenal. Black Clover is finally making its return, so I'm going to throw Black Clover on there. I think it's a great anime. The first few episodes are not the best, but if you could push through that, it's a very, very, really well done story. The animation hit or miss, but later on it gets really good. And Asta is a great character. And we talked about it earlier. I'm going to say Vinland Saga. I think Vinland Saga is a great story. I love season 1. I love season 2. I think those are probably my top 3. Out of all those that I've said, they all should be released. So you should all be caught up on at least all 3 of those because Vinland has been done for a minute. Black Clover isn't back. It's got like 5 seasons, so you got time to watch Black Clover, and then Jujutsu Kaisen should be caught up as well, as it's only got 3 seasons.
Yes, and I wanted to ask you this thing that lately we have seen a lot of influence from earlier. We used to know that it was Japan.
Yeah.
But now we're also getting many great animes from China.
Yeah, and Korea.
Also from Korea, exactly.
Yeah.
So have you watched any of them, and what do you think of them?
Yeah, I mean, Solo Leveling, Korean anime, fantastic. Dr. Stone, actually, another Korean anime, fantastic. I don't know if this one was Chinese. I thought it was Japanese, but I think Record of Ragnarok might have been Chinese. But that one's a really, really good anime as well. I think it's good. I think same with, either movies in Hollywood or movies in India. If the story is good and it's a good story being told, anyone should consume that art because at the end of the day, it's art. You know what I mean? From animes to movies to television, it's all art. People are going to enjoy art for what it is and have their own interpretation because art is subjective, like content. Content is subjective.
Yes, and I have noticed one thing is that Chinese anime, the animation is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I have only watched, I think 2, And the one I can remember right now is Lord of Mysteries.
Yeah. I have not seen that, but I have heard of it.
The animation is crazy. It is like peak. At least for me,
Hell yeah.
I loved it because it was crazy. Like so many parts, they look realistic. Even my mother-in-law, she started watching it because of that. Because it looked too beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah, if you get the time, please watch it. It is
will do.
Really great.
Will do.
And it is dubbed. You don't have to watch in Chinese. It is dubbed in English.
Hey man, I'm okay with reading subtitles if I need to. Not the end of the world.
If you get the time, though.
Yeah, exactly. If I had the time.
However, this anime is one that you have to watch with attention. Like you cannot put it in the background.
Yeah. You have to focus.
Yeah,
you said it was beautiful, so it makes sense. You can't miss anything.
Yeah, and it is complex. Like it has many things going on. When it says Lord of Mysteries, like it has a lot of mysteries inside that you have to understand. Even the intro that they explain, and like back in the day, this happened, and they show one tree and then explain. Even that you have to pay attention to that to understand what is happening in the anime series. It's amazing.
I'll definitely check it out.
And now, yeah, I don't want to make this podcast too long. So
no, you're gonna have a lot of editing.
I don't edit. My husband, he edits.
Oh, okay. Sorry, husband. Sorry, future husband. While you're editing this,
he's the one who edits. But it is fine. I love talking about different type of content, and
I love it.
Before we close, I have 2 questions.
Let's do it.
And the first one is, what's one upcoming Hollywood movie that you think isn't getting nearly enough attention?
It might just be too soon, because I think it'll get attention later, but it's probably going to be Werewolf by Robert Eggers. It's coming out in December.
Yes.
The thing with those kind of movies is I don't think him just a director. I think he's an artist. I like his different takes. The film is going to be black and white. It's going to be shot almost in a very small perspective. And so whatever word that is correct. I don't think it's getting enough love because it's just different. Not everyone likes black and white. He's already like testing those waters. Not everybody loves gothic horror. Not everybody loves interpretation pieces, because with him, the biggest concern with this movie, or the biggest talking point, is what is the transformation? Is it truly going to be a werewolf, or is it just a crazy person? Like, he could go in any direction. I think he's smart enough to turn it into an actual werewolf, because we haven't had a really good interpretation of a werewolf in a while. Like, I would make the argument we haven't, like, the last good transformation that I've seen was Van Helsing from 2003, the roided out Hugh Jackman werewolf, which is, I know, crazy. I might get some like hate for that, but that was one of my favorite transformations. We have not had a good transformation since then. And even before then, I would say a Werewolf in London, going old school. But I don't think that's getting enough love, but I am biased. I love his art pieces. I love pretty much all of his movies. I loved Lighthouse. I love Norseman. I loved Nosferatu, because he's not just the director. He's just an artist. He always pushes the envelope for me. He does something different. It's going to be very hard for me not to not like that movie, and I'm probably going to be pretty biased when I watch that movie, but I think that needs more love.
Yes, I think the community that loves horror movies, we're all hyped up for that movie, because whoever I talk to that they like horror, they're super excited for this movie.
Yeah.
But I do feel that it also needs more promo. Most likely by the end of the year it will get. But however, Nosferatu, they didn't do such a hardcore marketing.
And it still did well. It still did
well. Yes, exactly. I think, like you said, this word of mouth, it is the main tool in here that they will use, that you can recommend it to other people, and obviously the ratings.
Yeah, love them or hate them. Because living in this world of social media and content creation, it definitely has its positives and it has its negatives. Being able to, see good word of mouth for certain things definitely gets people interested, at the end of the day. So I think it'll definitely get some really good attention.
And finally, when 2026 ends, what do you think we'll remember this year for? Horror, blockbusters, original films, or just another year that had many, many franchises?
Oh, it's so early to tell. I think my first initial thought would probably be horror, original films, original ideas or creative ideas. I think this year has just been creative. Even if you are to go to say Spider-Man or Odyssey, they still in some level have been creative, pushing the envelope, doing different things. The Odyssey being shot on IMAX cameras, the entire movie is creative in itself. Spider-Man not necessarily being a Marvel film, in my opinion, just being more of a Spider-Man film, creative, different. It was a darker tone. They were doing some really wonderful camera shots in that movie, giving POVs of Spider-Man swinging. I love that. So I think the one word, if I had to choose for this year, would be creative. I think it's definitely been take it or leave it, the most creative and experimental year when it comes to Hollywood movies.
And now, lastly, the rapid fire round.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Best movie of the year so far.
I'm gonna go with my letterbox. It's gonna be 28 years later, The Bone Temple. There was something about that movie that I absolutely loved. Next to that, I'll just give you my other top three. Is just Odyssey is second, and then third is The Invite.
Okay, and now the worst movie of the 2026 so far.
Oh, it's actually gonna be Silent Hill. That was a terrible movie. Terrible movie. Cannot take that time back. It was horrible.
You can see the hate in your face.
So bad. It was bad because I was sitting there. I was literally the first bite of my popcorn. And the minute the actor started speaking, the dialogue was so bad. I was like, oh shit, I'm in for a really rough ride. And it just progressively got worse. The movie just kept getting worse. It was so bad.
Okay, most overrated movie of 2026.
Oh my God, overrated? Michael. I thought Michael was great. I thought it was good, but it's not what delivered for me for a biopic. I thought they missed a lot on the mark. The music was great. Jafar Jackson did a great job playing his uncle. Like, there's a lot of great aspects of Michael, but it's not the most mind-blowing biopic ever made. So overrated.
I'm so happy someone has agreed with what I thought when I gave the review for Michael. Because I also thought the same. Everywhere I was seeing these reviews that no, it is the best movie of the year. It is amazing. It is this. It is that.
No, it's Michael Jackson. Absolutely. The music is great. The freaking shots were amazing. The thriller scene, there were so many great things. But if we're talking about the substance of a story, it's all over the place. It's not accurate. And mind you, anyone, if you want any information, Janet Jackson refused to be involved in that film, mind you. And her being refused to be in this film, she was so close with Michael. She knew everything that happened with Michael, that she knew that essentially the other siblings were just pretty much just trying to make themselves look good within that film, if you want to go do a deep dive about that. But Janet Jackson, who understood Michael the best, understood the trauma that he went through and the story, refused to be a part of that film, should say enough about it being inaccurate enough as a biopic. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Overrated.
Exactly.
Yep.
And now the most underrated movie of this year. Till now.
I think I'm gonna do a funny option. Oh, there's so many. I'm literally looking at my letterbox just to. I'm not gonna say
we should get sponsored by them.
Honestly, if you want to follow me on Letterboxd, follow me on Letterboxd. It's my favorite, same handle. I don't know if this is underrated or maybe just not appreciated enough, and I'm gonna get flamed for this. I'm gonna say the Minions and Monsters movie. The Minions and Monsters movie was enjoyable to me. I think it was underrated because it's a Minions movie. It's not meant to be serious. It's not. It's fun. It's enjoyable. But just the idea of being in the realm of enjoying movies, and this movie is a love letter to old Hollywood, I think by itself is a beautifully told story. And it's just fun. It's a fun time. So I think it was underrated.
I can already feel the roasting in the comment section.
Yeah. They're like, fucking Minions and Monsters movie. I'm like, look, sometimes I'm a simpleton. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. Yes, it's a Minions movie, but there's a really nice story about the love of Hollywood in creating and making films. And me as a content creator fell in love with that idea. Sue me.
Now, one horror franchise that needs to end right now.
I think I might have to say, I'm going to say Evil Dead. I'm going to be biased. I like campy Evil Dead, man. I rewatched Army of Darkness. I love Army of Darkness. And I understand why people like Burn. Burn was decent, but sometimes the gore can be too much. And I think it was just a little too much in that. A little too much. I respect the creativeness. I respect pushing boundaries and doing something different because you have to with those big franchises. But I would have liked the opposite and going back to camp.
But you think it needs to end more than Insidious, The Conjuring, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill?
No, they should all end. No, every single one of them should stop. But they get butts and seats and they make They make money. Because again, look at all the original horror going on. Why are they making more money? Obsession, freaking Backrooms. I think Buddy is going to make money. You know, I understand how these big franchises, they want to keep going because again, they do get butts and seats, you know. But if they are going to turn this page in Hollywood where they want to start telling original horror story ideas, then they have to put these stories away or tell different maybe versions or different eras, maybe.
Yeah. Now, one upcoming movie you think could massively disappoint audiences?
I'm trying to think of another movie. I'm going to go with horror because I do know something that's coming out. Oh, actually, you know what? You know, I'm going to say, because it's still 50-50, I'm going to say Doom. I think Avengers Doomsday is going to upset a lot of people.
Good. I like that you're giving us this type of good comments that people can roast us and give us interaction.
Honesty. It's okay. Roast me. If I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong, man. I would love to. If I'm wrong about Doomsday, I'm going to be the happiest person walking out of that theater. Low expectations. And if I come out of there happy, that's a win-win.
Yeah, I think people forget that as reviewers, we want to watch good movies. We don't want to watch bad movies.
Yeah,
we just have
I don't want to watch a bad movie. I've done that. It's not fun. You know?
Yeah. And now your prediction for the best movie of 2026.
Okay, so putting my favorite best movie of 2026, I think it's going to either go to Spider-Man or Odyssey. They're making money. They're printing money right now. You know, I think Spider-Man is going to probably be very close to Bill easily. That movie is making money. I've never seen, regardless of how you feel about the movie, so many of my mutuals rewatch a movie. People are rewatching and going like I'm a one and done kind of guy. I don't go back to the theater like that. Like I think I did it for Backrooms. That's how much I liked it, and I will probably do it for Odyssey. But I rarely go back to the theater again. I'm a one and done. I wait till it's like available on streaming, then I'll rewatch it or something. But I have never seen so many people rewatch a second, a third, a fourth time for Spider-Man. So I think Spider-Man is going to be claimed as one of the best movies of the year.
Okay, so we're done with the rapid fire questions. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
What did you think? Are you happy with the interview? Are you happy with the podcast?
Yes. I'm very, very happy because in my case, like I'm from the West. I'm from that side. But now that I live in India, I've been here for 5 years. My opinion has changed so much in my perspective. So it is nice to also know more about the opinion of what is actually happening in there. What people think, what is like all this stuff. And I just love being able to talk about movies. Like we talk about anime, we talk about horror, we talk about this and that. It is super enjoyable. I'm really happy how it went.
Good.
And you're easy to talk to.
Yeah, I like talking. I yap a lot.
Yeah, you didn't make me nervous or anything, and I'm just happy because always whenever I have a podcast, I look chill, but I'm not chill. I'm panicking inside.
No, you did a great job.
Thank
Easy
you
peasy.
so much. No, I was gonna ask you if you had a good time.
No, I had a great time. I love talking about movies. I love being on podcasts. I literally have another podcast later in the next 6 hours. Double booked
Today
today.
is the day for you. Yes.
Apparently, yeah. Everyone was asking. I said, this time works. That's awesome.
Famous guy in here.
Gives me more freedom to express a little bit more of myself, so people feel more, I hope, feel more connected when they see my content, because you only see like a very small portion when I make my videos of like how, I guess, big my personality can get. And I feel like once you get to know me a little bit more, it makes a lot more sense where my crazy mind goes when I'm making my videos. You're like, oh, that makes sense. He generally is a giant nerd. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm just glad that I was able to talk a bit about anime. Because I get to talk about it with very few people. Even my husband, he doesn't watch.
I think anime is still one of the best art forms. I think a lot of people sleep on the storytelling. You know, if Hollywood were to take some ideas from the storytelling within anime, a lot of their movies would be a lot better.
Yeah, like in Japan, if you are into this anime, you will see that they do a lot of live actions.
Yeah.
For anime. They have so many live action movies.
They have a lot. They're not always the best, but the stories are still good.
Yeah. They try with the budget that they have.
They try.
Whatever is, yeah. And you will always see the
bread and butter's anime. They know. Their bread and butter's anime. It's manga. They know.
Yeah. I think you had a question?
Oh, no. I was just letting you rock and roll. Do you want to do a send-off? Do you want to do anything for the video? You post this on YouTube as well, or is it mostly just shorts?
YouTube. We mostly focus on YouTube, actually. Now we're trying to start on Instagram. I'm trying to make reels. I'm bad at it. I'm trying to improve.
Short form's great, man. I post everywhere. So post it everywhere. Post it on TikTok, Instagram, all of it.
Here, TikTok, it is banned. We cannot use. Yeah, we cannot use TikTok.
You'll be fine.
But yeah, the main thing that I struggle with is the hook. Really such a struggle with to come up with the hook. Like, oh, I just don't want to be like, oh, you've never watched this movie in your life. I feel very awkward saying that.
Yeah, find something that's fun. Watch some other people. You know, I've seen hooks where, you know, people just kind of get right into it. So maybe that's something that would work for you, you know, instead of like building the audience up, just, you know, go right into your points, go right into, you know, this movie worked for me because of X, Y, and Z. You know, maybe cut the beginning out and see if that works.
Yeah, I'll try that because I do want to do it, and I'm very camera conscious. Now I'm better.
It gets easier. It gets easier. In the beginning, I was horrible. It does get easier. It takes time though. It took a few years.
Yeah, like the same thing happened with me in podcasts. I was so bad in the beginning. I was very boring. I wouldn't even watch myself on the podcast. But now, like, okay, I'm able to talk. I'm able to control my nerves and get the flow of the conversation going. So I'm hoping to do the same thing for Instagram, because the main thing is that right now we're focusing mostly on Indian films. Like, we watch everything.
Yeah.
But most of our audience is from here. But I do want to reach more, like a bit more the US audience, because I want more people to come to know about Indian films.
Mm-hmm.
And besides that, also for Indian people to know more about the US films. Yeah. They're like both sides. I want to do that type of stuff. And since I'm able to speak in English, so
100%, it works. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping to do something like that, but let's see.
I love it.
Well, guys, we're done with our podcast today. We had a great guest, Blake, once again. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that we were able to talk about so many things, many different topics. Yes, and that you give us different perspective of what is actually happening in the US and not what we think is happening. So
yeah, I promise. People are not getting paid as much as people think they are, or I wouldn't. You know, I'd be a lot wealthier. More Funkos. I'd buy more Funkos.
It would be covered completely.
Yeah, I'd be covered.
So, guys, if you like his content, please go ahead and check him out. Please tell us your handles.
So on I can't say TikTok. You guys, you don't have TikTok, so never mind. But that doesn't
But
matter.
there's people in the US.
Oh, that's true.
also that-
Everywhere. So we'll start with YouTube because I know this is gonna be on YouTube. I do have a YouTube. It is Blake or at Blake Koala. Yes, the marsupial bear that is in Australia, very cute. But at Blake Koala on Instagram, there's an underscore, so it's Blake _ Koala. But everywhere else, it's at Blake Koala, especially TikTok. So easy peasy. Twitter, X, you'll find me everywhere for movies, television, commentary, reviews, all the fun, awesome yapping content that I do.
Yes, and he also covers series. So if you like House of Dragon,
I just
and
talked about
all
that.
the series, yes.
We're going on to
the
I
guy.
think Rings of Power. I think Rings of Power season 3 we're going to talk about, and I think the new Lantern show because I'm still a DC fan. Love DC.
So if you want to know about it, follow him. He's the guy for that. We cover movies, so I'm sorry guys, we don't have the time right now, but
No, I love
eventually
it.
we will be like him someday.
You will.
And with that,
You will.
yeah.
Absolutely. Cami will. I believe in Cami.
And with that said, thank you so much for watching us. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you guys.
ट्रेलर हो या टीजर रिएक्शन हो क्लियर ऑडियंस कनेक्ट फील हो रियल साउथ या बॉलीवुड हर एक स्क्रीन थल्लाबड्डी बोले क्या है असली सीन थल्लाबड्डी आवाज है